So today we will discuss historical events in Assam during the British rule. Okay, so what are different historical events took place in Assam during the British rule? We will discuss one by one. Okay. So first of all, so revolt of Gumdhor. Okay. So in the last class we have discussed about how the British have actually annexed the both means Upper Assam as well as the Lower Assam, and how initially British they actually they fight with Burmese, and ultimately Burmese were actually they were forced to leave Assam, and ultimately they signed the Yandabu Treaty, and after the signing of the Yandabu Treaty, actually entire Assam, so it actually came under the control of British. Okay. Now we will also discuss what are the different revolt. Okay. So actually initially people they thought that British will because people of Assam have suffered a lot under the Burmese administration. Okay. So because they were actually they imposed very high tax on Assamese people, and so people of Assam initially they thought that when British will come, so they will be relieved from this high tax, as well as British will also gradually British will also restore the monarchy, that is Ahom monarchy in Assam, and then they will left. So the people of Assam, as well as all the nobles, as well as the other actually members of the royal family, so they actually accepted, or they invited the British. But gradually they came to know about the real intention of British. Okay. And because initially although British was they actually rule with a very liberal policy, but later they also tried to increase the tax. Okay. They increase the revenue on land revenue, and they also imposed tax on different products. Okay. So as a result, the conditions of the people were again deteriorated. Okay. So although British has had developed different routes, rivers, railways, so so actually this development were actually for their own benefit. Okay. Because when there will be good connectivity in terms of routes and railways, so British can easily mobilize their this raw materials to the raw materials from different parts. Okay. And similarly they can also mobilize their troops, mobilize their soldiers whenever there are any revolt. They can easily mobilize their these soldiers in order to suppress those revolt. Okay. So these are the main intentions. Okay. Why British had developed their these routes, railways, or other infrastructure. Okay. So initially people thought that this is for the benefit of the people, but later they came to know about the real intention of British. Okay. And we all know that industrial revolution, this took place in British for the first time, in Britain for the first time, and as a result of what, this machine made product. Okay. So they actually they actually flooded the Indian market with machine made product. Okay. So which price of this product is very less, cheaper as compared to the India's handmade product. Okay. So as a result, India's handloom or handicraft industry, so it suffered a lot. Okay. Because Indian product which is handmade, which is okay, so as a result price is higher as compared to the machine made product which is actually imported from Britain. So as a result, India's cottage industry suffered a lot. Okay. And okay, so as a result all not only the common people, all the this actually royal family of Ahom royal family members, they also gradually started to actually they actually planned the different strategies so that they can actually liberate Assam from the rule of British. Okay. So first person, okay, so who revolted against the British was Gumdhor. Okay. The first person who revolted against the British, he was your Gumdhor. Okay. And if you see in 1828, so Gumdhor, he actually declared himself as a Raja, okay, of the country, means of Assam, and he also organized armed revolt against the British. Okay. So So first person who actually revolted against the British was a Gumdhar Kaur. In 1820, he actually declared himself as the Raja of this, and he organized an armed revolt against the British. Okay, and he was actually his main objectives or dream was to re-establish the Ahom rule in Assam again. His main objective was to re-establish Ahom monarchy or Ahom rule in Assam again, and he was actually assisted by Dhananjay Borgohain. He was assisted by Dhananjay Borgohain, and they actually actually they organized themselves in Jorhat, and but later British came to know their main objective was to capture the British base at Rangpur. So in Rangpur, British is a base, so they first wanted to capture this this base at Rangpur, but actually the British, because they have a very efficient spy system, no? Spy network. So they came to know about this revolt. Then they what captured all these revolt members, Dhananjay Borgohain and Gumdhar Kaur. Okay, so this again, this after this Gumdhar Kaur, he was captured and sentenced for 7 years imprisonment. Okay, so this revolt again cannot actually succeed because I have already told you in the last class that British they were very efficient administrator, and their spy system was also very strong. So they came to know about this conspiracy. So as soon as they came to know about this conspiracy, they captured all the members who involved this plot, and ultimately this Gumdhar Kaur, he was captured and he was sentenced for 7 years of imprisonment. Okay. So next, this Gumdhar Kaur, he was captured, but Dhananjay Borgohain, so he was able to escape into the Motok kingdom, and so where he again with his some other members, he tried to organize. He again tried to organize. Okay, a revolt against the British, to capture the Rangpur, which is the base of British, but it is again failed. Okay. So ultimately, Pioli Phukon and this Zeoram Dolia Borua, they were hanged 1830. Okay. So ultimately, so although later on this Dhananjay Borgohain, he again organized the revolt, to actually capture the Rangpur. Ultimately, again British they captured all these members, and ultimately Pioli Phukon and Zeoram Dolia Borua, no? So they were actually hanged. Okay, in the year 1813. Okay, because they were declared actually they were declared as a conspirator who has fought against the revolt against the British. So ultimately they were actually hanged in 1830. Next, Khasi revolt. Similarly, in Khasi, okay, there was also revolt took place in 1820 to 1834. Okay, so in Khasi, actually revolt was carried out by U. Tirot Singh. So U. Tirot Singh. Okay, so actually why this Khasi revolt started? Okay, so first of all we see we know that the David Scott, no, he was the first commissioner, David Scott. So he actually wanted to build a route connecting what Guwahati to Sylhet, okay, through the Khasi hills. So in order to save the travel time. So this David Scott, he actually wanted to build a route from Guwahati to Sylhet. Sylhet is in present time in Bangladesh. No? Initially it was with India itself. No? So I have discussed last class, no, that Sylhet was transferred to East Pakistan, that is present Bangladesh, through referendum. Okay, after the partition. So this David Scott, so he wanted to build a route from Guwahati to Sylhet. Sylhet is near Kasar, no. So through the that is Khasi hills. So in order to save the travel time, okay, and the Tirot and other ships who were in the Khasi ships, they actually gave this permission. They gave permission David Scott to build the route, but later there was a rumor that what is a rumor that British will impose heavy tax, okay, on this the people who will use this route. They have to pay a huge tax, okay, that is and as well as there was also rumor that British actually they wanted to develop this route so that they can also annex the Khasi, okay. So Khasi, the British can also incorporate this area into their territory, okay. So as a result, so they actually revolted. So this Khasi revolt was actually led by U. Tirot Singh. Okay, and but again, this we know that the British, they were very they are in terms of soldiers, in terms of skills, in terms of equipments, no, they are far superior as compared to the other people. No, so ultimately this revolt was also failed. Okay, okay. So this is a Khasi revolt. So next, okay. So then another revolt was carried out by Rani Gaidinliu. Okay, Rani Gaidinliu. He is also known as Daughter of the Hills. Okay, Daughter of the Hills. Okay, Rani Gaidinliu. Actually, this title Rani was given to her by the this Jawaharlal Nehru when the interim government was formed in India. Okay, because after when the interim government was formed, so it is due to her courage that she has shown. No, she had shown to fight against the British only at the age of 16. When she actually fought against the British, she was only 16 years old. Okay, so that is due to her courage. This title Rani was given to her by actually in 1946 by Nehru. Okay, so gave the title Rani. Okay, Rani Gaidinliu. She was a Naga freedom fighter from Manipur, and she belongs to the Rongmei Naga tribes. Okay, she belongs to Rongmei Naga tribes, and she was born in 26th of January 1915, and she led a movement known as Harakka movement, or meaning pure. Okay, so this movement was actually initially led by, this was her cousin, that is Haipur and Haipur Jadong. Okay, but thing is that he was killed by British. When British killed her cousin, she actually led the movement. It is Herakka movement, means the meaning is pure. Okay, so ultimately when she led the movement, her age was only 16 years. Okay, she was only 16 years old when she led the movement. So she was ultimately captured on 17th of October 1932, and then she was sentenced for life imprisonment. Okay, so she was sentenced for life imprisonment. But when interim government was formed in 1946, no, interim government. Okay, interim government was formed. Interim government of India was formed in 1946. So this Jawaharlal Nehru so gave her a title, that is Rani. Okay, so that is why she is known as Rani Gaidinliu, or she is also known as the Daughter of the Hills. Okay, so she is actually Naga freedom fighter from Manipur, and she fought against the British and missionaries. We know that all these Christian missionaries, okay, Christian missionaries, they actually spread, the main objective is what? They spread Christianity, no? They convert the people. Okay, they actually initially they targeted all these poor people, so they helped them through financial aid, and ultimately they converted them to Christian. Okay, so so she fought against this, okay, British imperialist power as well as the Christian missionaries. Okay, and this is your Rani Gaidinliu. Okay, so next we will discuss the very famous revolt, no, 18 Sepoy Mutiny. So revolt of 1857 in Assam. Now what is the impact? So we know that Sepoy Mutiny took place, no, on 10th of May in Meerut. It started there in North India mainly. So in North India, its influence is profound, no, as compared to the other part. So in South there is you can say no influence, and mainly in the North India. Okay, we have seen the profound influence of this Sepoy Mutiny, okay, of 1857, which started on 10th of May in 1857. So now we will discuss what are the what are the influence, no, of Sepoy Mutiny in Assam, and who is the person who has taken the leading role, no, in organizing these soldiers in Assam and to overthrow the British. Okay, so the Moniram Dewan, no, so Moniram Dewan actually he played a very significant role, no, so to organize this revolt, to spread this Sepoy Mutiny, this in the Assam. Okay, but okay, we will discuss one by one. Okay, so background of the revolt. So why actually this revolt took place in Assam? So I have already discussed that initially all the common people, no, all the common people of Assam, as well as the nobles, okay, as well as the royal family of Ahom, they believe that so this Burmese they actually invited British in order to uh, protect them from the atrocities that is atrocities of the Burmese. Okay, so because Burmese were very they were very uncivilized. They actually punished the people of Assam to very large extent. No, say they imposed huge tax, and they also disrespect the women. Okay, and they plundered the all the villages. Okay, they destroy the property of the people. So they had actually people of common people as well as all the nobles and royal families. They have suffered a lot. Okay, under the British means Burmese administration. I already discussed yesterday. No, so Burmese actually this after the third Burmese war. No. Actually, Burmese invaded Assam for the 3 times. No? So, first invasion took place in 1817, second 1819, and third 1821. In the 1821 was not invitation. First two invasion was actually due to invitations from this Ahom nobles or Ahom royal family. But third invasion was there. They directly invaded. They wanted to. It was not the invitation. They came to know that Ahom internally becomes very weak. So it is the right time to invade them and annex the Assam. Okay. So in 1821, when for the third time when Burmese invaded Assam, so it was occupied entire Assam, and from 1821 to 1825, no, from 1821 to 1825 till the signing of Yandabu Treaty. So actually Burmese has actually rule in Assam. Okay, so at that period the people of Assam has to actually suffered a lot under the Burmese rulers. So they wanted to get rid of from these atrocities that put forward by the Burmese. So they welcome British. So people of all the common people as well as the nobles and Ahom family, royal families, they thought that this British will actually they are good administrators, and they will look after the well-beings of the common people, and ultimately they will restore the monarchy. But that was not the case. Okay, so okay. That was not the case. They gradually understand the real intention of British. Okay, British imperialists. Okay, so okay, and they not only lost their privilege but also lost their chances to work. Okay, actually the new administrative setup. Okay, new administrative system that is set up by the British. So they so they were very again they were not actually easy for the people of this common people as well as this noble class to accept. Those are very hard, and so as a result they also they also started revolting against the actually British. Okay, so okay. Now Moniram Dewan. No? So Moniram Dewan actually played a very significant role. So in organizing this revolt in Assam. Okay, so he was actually first. He was actually the first tea planter from Assam. He also actually he was one of the very great entrepreneur at that time itself. That is why we have now Moniram Dewan Trade Center is there in his name. So he was initially actually very great entrepreneur at that time itself. Okay, so you can see he established actually 2 tea gardens. One is Sinamara Tea Garden in Jorhat, and next one is your Singlo in Sibsagar district. One is your Sinamara, next one is Singlo. These 2 tea gardens were set up by him. Okay, one is at Jorhat and another one is here at Sibsagar district. Okay, and he was also known as Korita Raja. So he was also known as Korita Raja, and so Moniram Dewan actually he wanted to restore this Ahom monarchy with the help of this grandson of Purandar Singha, that is Kondopeswar Singha. Okay, so Kondopeswar Singha he was the actually grandson of the Purandar Singha. So through Kondopeswar Singha, the Moniram Dewan he wanted to restore the Ahom monarchy again. Okay, and he was also known as the Korita Raja. He was very popular among the common people at that time. Okay, and okay. Okay. Actually, we know that the first tea plantations was carried out in India, in Assam by British itself, Robert Bruce, okay, and his brother Alexander, so Charles Alexander Bruce, okay, okay. But this tea plantation was first introduced to them by Moniram Dewan itself, okay, Moniram Dewan, okay, and he was Dewan means chief executive. So why he's known as, actually his original name was actually Moniram Datta Borua, okay, Moniram Datta Borua, and Dewan, it is a actually title means it is a he is chief executive of Assam Tea Company at Nazira in 1839, okay, Dewan, okay. So it is his one of the this post, okay, Dewan, okay, chief executives of Assam Tea, Dewan meaning, okay, but his original name was this one, Moniram Datta Borua, okay. Okay. So later on, although initially, this Moniram Dewan, he worked with the British, okay, and he tea plantation was also carried out, and as a result, Robert Bruce and Charles Alexander Bruce, they carried out tea plantations, and Moniram was also actually helped them. So initially it's okay, but later Moniram Dewan, there he has a actually he was a very highly ambitious person, okay. So he is now this gradually he used to maintain distance. So now confrontation start with the British officials and him, okay. So he actually already I told you, he wanted to again restore the monarchy here. So he wrote different MOU, okay, memorandum of understanding, to the British officials, and in Bengal, higher authority in Bengal. So he sent memorandum of understanding. He sometimes visited he personally to submit those memorandum of understandings in order to restore. He requested the British higher officials to restore monarchy in Assam. Okay, but there was no response. To those MOU. So and ultimately he realized what is the main intention of British. They want, okay. So that is why he wanted to liberate Assam. So with the help of this Kondabeswar Singha and the grandson of Purandar Singha, okay, as a ruler, okay. So for that purpose, actually he went to Calcutta. So when he was in Calcutta, actually this Sepoy mutiny took place. Okay, in Sepoy mutiny took place in the, if you see the Indian point of view, no. So first Sepoy mutiny took place in Meerut on 10th of May, no, in 1857. So in 1857, at that time, actually Moniram Dewan was in Calcutta. Okay. Now, if we just quickly go through what are the main causes of Sepoy mutiny from Indian point of view, Indian history point of view. Okay. So if you see the main causes of the revolt of this 1857 or Sepoy mutiny, actually it start on 10th of May, no? 10th May in Meerut, no? In Meerut, it took place in 10th May, Meerut. Sepoy mutiny, no? (1857). So if you see what are the main causes, so what are the main causes of the revolt of 1857? Okay, Sepoy mutiny. First one is your economic cause. Economic cause. So economic causes. So what are the economic causes under the Sepoy mutiny? What are the economic causes? If you see the economic cause, then they will see first is what? High tax, no? High tax. High taxes. Okay. So first is high taxes. Okay. Already I have discussed that it may be land tax, property tax, it may be your land tax. So land tax, property tax. Okay. Etc. So first economic cause is your high taxes. So British, they impose very high taxes on the people of people. So they have suffered a lot. Okay. So the farmers, they have to take loans from the money lenders. So ultimately they entered in the this debt trap, no. So many farmers have suicide, and since they are not able to return the, so since the land tax is very high, so they have to pay the they have to return these things to the British officials, okay. But whenever there is a failure of crops, no, but British never reduced all this taxes. Ultimately, these farmers, they have to take loans from the money lenders, okay, or traders, and so ultimately they entered in the debt trap, okay. So the concept like debt trap, okay, debt trap. So as a result of what, these farmers have to, or this common people, they have to suffer a lot. So this is first economic cost. So what is the second economic cost of this second economic cost of revolt of 1857 is your first one is your high tax, okay. Next, destruction of cottage industry, no, cottage industry, cottage industry. So destruction of the cottage industry. So okay, so I have already discussed that in the Britain, no, that this industrial revolution took place. So as a result what, they actually used to collect the all the raw materials, okay. So from their colonies. At that time, India was a British colony, no. Similarly, India, they have also colonies in different parts in Africa, in the different parts of Asia, okay, Europe itself. So they used to collect the raw materials at a very cheap price, and then transported those things to the Britain, and where they produce the final product, machine made product, and whose price is much cheaper as compared to the this handmade product of Indian product. So as a result, India's cottage industry suffered a lot. So okay, all these peoples, artisans who actually engaged in this cottage industry or handloom industry, they suffered, they lost their livelihood. So they actually now turn against the British, because British, they used to flood it all the Indian market with cheap machine made product from the Britain, and as a result, Indian handloom or cottage industry suffered. So all these people, they have lost their livelihood, so they protest against him, okay. So this is the second economic cause of the revolt, okay. And third cause, zamindars, no, those zamindars class, no. So we know that during the there is a zamindar class, okay. So in the they actually during the Mughal period itself, zamindari or zagidari systems were there, no. All these they were the landowners, okay. They were the landowners, and all the lands which were actually held by the zamindars, they were confiscated by the British, okay. And as a result, so okay, so they also lost their lands. Now these zamindars were initially very powerful. They are the owners of huge lands, okay. They actually supply soldiers and all the important important things to the Mughal during the Mughal period. Ultimately, the Mughal ruler, they hand over this lands, okay. These lands were actually maintained by zamindars. They collect the taxes, and under the zamindars, there is these farmers are there who actually work in this field. Ultimately, they collect the this money, okay. So they are the these zamindars are the owners of huge land, okay. But during the British, they actually confiscated this land from the zamindars. So they also suffered a lot. So they also turned against the British. So these are the main three economic causes of this Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. Okay, first is economic cost. Next, political costs. There is also political cause of this revolt. So what are the political costs? So second is your political costs. Okay. Political cause of the revolt. So political causes. So what are the political causes of the revolt? Okay. So first one is your this, and second one is your political cause. Okay. So political cause. What are the political cause of the revolt of 1857? Okay. And so if we see the political cause, and then political cause mainly. So what British used to do? So they used to actually okay, just wait. Okay, so what are the main political cause of this revolt? political cause of this revolt. And already I have told you, no, the British, they do not treat all these Mughal emperors, they actually with prestige in this, all these zamindars and Mughals not equally, and they also what they also they actually treat themselves as superior. Okay, now as the and other members as the inferior. Okay, and there is also they also in administration, no, in the administration of British, they actually, although Indians were there in the British administrations, although actually Indians are there, so they were not treated actually equally. Okay, so they this British, they treated themselves as superior, as compared to the Indians. Okay, so there as a result, there was also so there was also actually protest against them. Again, you can see the British also introduced some policies like doctrines of lapse, subsidiary alliance, no? Doctrines of lapse. One is your doctrine. So doctrines of lapse, subsidiary alliance, no? Subsidiary alliance. So subsidiary alliance, that is Lord Wellesley, no? So Lord Wellesley, he introduced this concept, subsidiary alliance, Lord Wellesley. Okay, so Lord Wellesley, and doctrines of lapse, Lord Dalhousie, no? Doctrines of lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie. So this actually through subsidiary alliance, which was introduced by Lord Wellesley. What is the meaning of subsidiary alliance? So actually, the British administration, they forced all the native rulers to establish a British military base in their capital, and ultimate in their capital, and in order to look after this military personnel, and in order to look after this, so this British means Indian native ruler have to hand over some land, or they have to give some revenue or some land, okay, in order to maintain for the maintenance of this military bases. Okay, all the native subsidiary lands means what? All the native rulers, okay, they have to accept so one British military base in their capital, okay, in their capital okay, and in order to look after this military base, so they have to provide either money or some lands so that they can maintain these things. Okay, okay, means at Indian cost they will maintain their military. Okay, so through this this actually subsidiary alliance system, what British do, they actually strengthen their military positions. Strategically, they actually, the main strategic reason is that they wanted to strengthen their military position in throughout the country. So through subsidiary this, they strengthen their military base throughout the country. Whenever there is a revolt, they can easily mobilize. Okay, they can easily mobilize their troops from one place to another, and they can suppress the revolt at the initial stage itself. So there, I have already told you, the British, they are very efficient administrators. So this okay, so this actually this subsidy through this subsidiary alliance system, British strengthened their military hold, okay, throughout the India. Okay, initially we know that the British were they have a strong hold only in Bengal, no. So they have, suppose there is a revolt in South India, so then it will take time, no. So for the mobilization of force from the Bengal to the South India, it will take times. But through this subsidiary alliance system, they now in every Indian native ruler have to accept a military base in their capital. Okay, and in order maintenance, for the maintenance of this military base, this native ruler have to supply lands or money. Okay, so now British will maintain their military base at the cost of Indian itself. And now so how it is benefit for them, because now they can easily mobilize their troops whenever there is a revolt. They can easily mobilize their troops to suppress the revolt, okay, at the initial stage. So, and no doubt whenever there is a external threat, whenever there is a external threat to the Indian native ruler, so they will be protected by British, no problem. But thing is that this subsidiary alliance system actually through the subsidiary alliance system. So all the Indian native states, no, native means princely states mainly, they becomes vulnerable to the British military this attacked. Okay, so this is your subsidiary alliance system. So next one is your doctrines of lapse. So the doctrines of lapse, it was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Already I have told you now. So that doctrines of lapse, if any Indian native ruler, if he or she died without a natural heir, his territory cannot be passed to an adopted heir. Okay, adopted son. So it must be transferred to the British. Okay, so this is the doctrines of lapse. So these doctrines of lapse actually British annexed Satara, next Jhansi, okay, Nagpur, all these important provinces to their territory, British territory. So this is the as a result of what these peoples were there, the people actually who were actually affected from this type of policies, they were also actually against the British. Okay, so this is the political cause of the this revolt of 1857. Okay, so one is economic cause, so political cause. Next we will discuss social cause. So it is a social cause of the revolt. Okay, social cause. So third one is your social cause. So it is a social cause of the revolt. Okay, so it is a social cause of the revolt. Okay, so social cause is first of all already I have told you missionaries, no, missionaries. So these missionaries, no, Christian missionaries. So these missionaries, they actually what wanted to spread Christianity, no, among they wanted to convert the Hindus, okay, to Christian. Mainly they attack the poor people. They help them through finance, they support them financially, and ultimately they try to convert them. So as a result, these common people, they realized that they wanted to convert them to the Christianity. So there is a conflict. Okay, so this Christian missionaries policies also this, and we know that British played a very significant role. No, so in the although it is they have done it is for good purpose, like they wanted to abolish the soti, okay, soti system, purda system, okay, and child marriage. Okay, so but common people at that time, when British came, no, there is a huge scale means poverty and illiteracy is there, no. So the common people thought that, so by interfering in their social issues, British wanted to destroy their own religion, their religions, and all okay. So they wanted to convert all them to Christianity. Okay, so this is another cause of social. This is social cause. Okay, social cause of this revolt. Okay, and so third one is your fourth one is your if you see the use of Enfield rifle. So the British, there is a Enfield rifle, okay, where they have to use some cartridge, okay. So where it is the cartridge is produced from the actually beef, okay, and since it actually they have to bite it before they use. So then for the soldiers, okay, who actually most of the people, they were Hindu. So okay, it affect their religious sentiments, no. So the cartridge which is produced from the beef, okay, so and okay, and they have to use before they have to bite it before use. So but since most of the peoples they were Hindu at the time, so this Hindu actually soldiers, they refused to use this rifle, okay, Enfield rifle. Again, if you see at that time 87% of the British troops, okay, they were actually recruited from Indians itself. But thing is that they did not have the same promotion patterns as the British have enjoyed. Okay, so these Indian soldiers were discriminated. Okay, they were not treated equally. Okay, so as the British soldiers, they get quickly promotions, and Indian soldiers were not given a promotion. Okay, and okay, so all this has actually created resentment among the soldiers also. And for fifth one is some external events. Some external events also actually external events like in Afghan war. In Afghan war, actually British has suffered. So in Punjab war also British has suffered a lot. Okay, so from these events, the people of India, they also realized that they initially thought that British were very powerful. It is not possible to fought against them. So, but all these some external events where British suffered a lot. Okay, in Afghan war itself. I think it is 19 in 1846, 44, 46, 47. Okay, so where this they were defeated in Afghan war as well as in the this in the okay. So as a result, they got the inspiration. They realized that yes, they can be also defeated. So ultimately, so all this has actually resulted in the actually this revolt of 1857. Okay. So in Assam also actually this Monirama Dewan, he actually played a significant role so in organizing this revolt. So already I told you know when this event took place, Monirama Dewan was in Calcutta. So what he do, he actually made a plan. Okay, so he planned that during the Durga Puja, no, in October 1857, he expected to arrive in Assam through arms and ammunition. Okay, and okay, and the sepoy stations at places like Guwahati, Hodia, Golaghat, Jorhat, etc. also gave the assurance to join them. Okay, so the Monirama Dewan, he actually make a plan. Okay, that on Durga Puja in October of 1857, he will arrive in Assam with arms and ammunitions. Okay, and he also gives actually Monirama Dewan, he actually make a constant communications with the Kondopeswar Singha. Kondopeswar Singha means he was the grandson of the Purandar Singha. Okay, and through letters. Okay, but we know that the British there's actually spy network was very strong. So somehow they actually they intercept this. They intercept all this actually all these letters, and they came to know about this conspiracy. Okay, so actually this one no under the police Harnath Borua Daruga. Okay, Sibsagar. So this with the help of this Daruga of Sibsagar Harnath Borua. So actually British intercepted all the messages. Okay, all these letters that communicate between the this Monirama Dewan and Kondopeswar Singha. So they came to know about the conspiracy. So now British took the very promptly they took the steps to capture Monirama as well as the Kondopeswar Singha, and ultimately when these letters were disclosed, they came to know about the entire plan. Okay, so again this revolt was actually before carrying out this revolt. So this it was again failed. Okay, and ultimately Monirama Dewan was arrested in the Calcutta itself, and Kondopeswar Singha, he was also actually arrested, and he was sent. Okay, and on 26th of February 1858, so Pioli Borua, okay, along with Monirama Dewan, no, they were actually hanged publicly in Jorhat jail. Okay, and Monirama Dewan, he was already arrested. So when he was in Calcutta, and the Kondopeswar Singha, he was also arrested from his palace on the 7th of September 1857. So he was Monirama was arrested in Calcutta, and later he was brought to Assam for trial, and in that trial he was found guilty. Okay, and in that trial he was found guilty ultimately. So Monirama Dewan as well as the Pioli Borua, he also helped Monirama, okay, during this to organize this revolt. So Pioli Borua and Monirama Dewan, they were found guilty. Okay, and ultimately they were also hanged. They were hanged on the 26th of February 1858 at the Jorhat jail. Okay. So all the other sepoys who were actually waited, okay, for the arrival of Monirama with arms and ammunition from Calcutta. So they were also actually captured. Who were in Guwahati, Golaghat, and Hodia, they were also captured, and actually they were imprisoned for life. Okay, so in this way, the attempt which is taken by the Monirama Dewan to revolt against the British in order to restore the old actually monarchy, that is Ahom rule in Assam, was a failure. Okay, so this is the failure. But although this revolt failed, okay, but it gives some, it also has some positive consequences. Although it is a failure, okay, but it also has some positive outcomes. Okay, so what are the positive outcomes of this revolt in Assam mainly? Okay, national consciousness, no, national. So you can see national consciousness among the people of Assam actually growth. There is a growth of national. Initially, the people of there was no national consciousness or national awakening. Okay, that took place in the people of Assam. But this revolt, so 1857, actually which has actually helped to grow the national consciousness. Okay, the national consciousness among the people of Assam also. Okay, so although it is a failure, but it has some positive outcome as well, and we will see after this 1857. No, so since there is a growth of national consciousness, so people now come forward to fought against the British directly. Initially, common people, they hesitated. They thought that British were very powerful. Okay, so it is not possible to fight against them. So they actually willingly and accept all the, although it is British imposed very heavy tax, no, on land, okay, or tax on different products, but they silently accept all these things because they thought that it is not possible for them to fight against this mighty British. But this, after this revolt, so there is a people, although it is a failure, but people, they get a courage. Okay, and now after this and there is so there is a growth of national consciousness and national awakening, okay, among the common people. Then we will see there are a lot of revolt. Now you will see a lot of actually revolt will actually carried out by the common people after this 1857. Okay, like 1861. Now we have this one, the Phuloguri revolt. We will come to that. Okay, so this is a positive outcome from the revolt of 1857. Okay. Now we will move to the workers and peasants movement. So although this although this is a revolt of 1857 is a failure, so but there is gain. What are the gain? We will discuss now. Okay, so first is this one, Phuloguri uprisings 1861. So 1857, that is after 4 years. After 4 years, we have seen this Phuloguri uprising. So 1861. So this is the first agrarian revolt. Okay, so Phuloguri uprising of 1861. No, Phuloguri. So where is Phuloguri? So Phuloguri is present Nagaon, no, in Nagaon district. So there was an uprising in 1861. Okay, and which is known as Phuloguri Dhawa. Okay, so in Assamese it is known as your Phuloguri Dhawa. So it actually this is the first agrarian revolt after 1857. Okay, so why this Phuloguri revolt took place? Actually, if you see the inhabitants of people, no, the people who were in the mainly in the Phuloguri, they were Lalung and Kosari tribes. The people in the Phuloguri mainly at that time, they belongs to actually Lalung and Kosari tribes. They were the common opium eater. They use opium. No, this is a local something. So this is they actually eat opium. No, so they are the opium eaters, and it is their habit. Okay, they used to eat opium. Okay, and but what British do, they actually increase the tax on opium also, and they also ban the private cultivations of opium. Means only British will cultivate the opium and other people have to buy at a very high price from the British. Okay, so but they were the very common people. No, they initially they used to cultivate these things by themselves and then they eat. Okay, because they are the they used to eat opium. Okay, but what British they do, they increase actually they fix the price of the opium at a very high price, at a high rate, and they also banned the private cultivation of opium. Okay, so private cultivation of opium, and as a result, the people of they were very dissatisfied. Okay, so the people of the people of Phuloguri, they were very dissatisfied with this British, with the decision of this British administration. So what they do actually, and there was also rumor. We know that there actually at that time also, and the lot of rumors used to spread. Okay. Now at that time there was also a rumor, okay, that British government they would soon impose duties on their sources of income, such as cultivations of betel leaf and cultivations of fruits in the gardens. There was also rumor, not only opium, British is going to also impose tax, okay, not on in the betel nut, pan, no, pan masala, pan tamul, no. So in betel leaf, okay, then in cultivations of the garden, cultivation of gardens in the so cultivation of fruits in the garden. So what people do, they actually now they wanted to organize say revolt or wanted to organize the protest against the British. Initially they organized a rice mill. So initially they organized a rice mill. Now what is rice mill? So at that time, no, so people used to organize a rice mill. So rice mill means the people will come, rice mill, no, rice. So the people, all these elderly people of the village, they will come together before going to any to carry out any okay, any protest or any events. They actually use this they organize the rice mill where they discuss what will be their strategy, how they will actually move on, no. And this is okay, where all these elderly people they come together and they put forward their voice, their view, okay. That is called rice mill. At present also we have another form of things that is called as a gram sabha, okay, gram sabha. That is your gram sabha. So what is gram sabha, by the way? So gram sabha, so rice mills, gram sabha, so almost same. So these are the actually you can say the instrument of direct democracy, where the people, common people, they come together, they actually they put forward their views, okay, and they take the decision instantly. So these are the instrument of direct democracy, okay. These are the instrument of direct democracy. Okay, if you see the Gram Sabha, which present exists in our Bonsai system, no? So Gram Sabha, you can say it is the lowest unit of democracy. And what is the highest unit of democracy? So highest unit of democracy is your parliament. But there is a difference. There is a difference between Gram Sabha and parliament. If you see at present the highest unit of just wait. Okay, if you see the highest unit of democracy is a parliament, no? The highest unit of democracy, so it is your parliament. And the lowest unit of democracy is your Gram Sabha. Okay, so Gram Sabha. But the difference is that so it is a representative democracy. It is a representative. It is a representative democracy, whereas it is a direct democracy. It is a direct democracy. So it is the highest unit, no? So it is the highest unit of democracy. Okay, whereas this is the lowest. It is the lowest unit of democracy, and it is the highest unit of democracy. Okay, so highest unit of democracy is parliament and lowest unit of democracy is Gram Sabha. The basic difference is that in the parliament we have representative democracy. In the parliament we have what? Representative democracy, whereas in Gram Sabha we have direct democracy. So what is the basic difference? The basic difference is that, so you see in parliament, no? So in parliament the common people of India, they cannot go to the parliament and they cannot enact a law, okay. They cannot participate in the process of law making. Okay, what we do for that purpose? For that purpose we actually elect our representatives, that is MPs, okay, to both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and these MPs, okay, on behalf of the people of India, okay, so they actually, this is the representatives of people of India, so they actually enact laws for the common people. So that is why it is called representative democracy. But in case of Gram Sabha, which is the lowest unit of democracy, but here here actually it is a direct democracy. It is not representative democracy. Means in Gram Sabha, which still exists in our Panchayati Raj system, so where all the elderly people of the village, they come together, okay, so they will discuss on a particular matter and they will take the decision instantly, okay, that is called as a direct democracy. So that is why Gram Sabha is called as a it is a instrument of direct democracy, whereas parliament is the representative democracy. Clear? Okay. So now they organize the rice mill. So we are now back to Fulaguri uprisings of 1861. So where now they organize the what? Rice mill. So what they will do now in the rice mill, so they discuss about the British, so that they have increased the price on the opium. They have banned the private cultivations of opium. They also, there is a rumor that British is also going to impose tax on the betel leaf as well as the cultivation of fruits in the gardens. So there is a resentment among the people. So they actually okay. Now on the 17th of October, on 17th of October 1861, people from different villages, they assemble in the mill and against this British policy. And so what they used to do, they actually they protest against these policies, and they but what British do, they wanted to suppress this gathering. Okay, they wanted to suppress this gathering through use of force. Okay, so what happened is that the some actually one very unfortunate actually events took place at that time. So at that time, Mr. Singer, actually he was the assistant commissioner of police of Nagaon. Okay, at that time he was the assistant commissioner of police of Nagaon. And what people do, so people actually attacked him, and ultimately he died, okay, in this mob lynching. Okay, actually he actually died there, and ultimately his body was thrown to the Kolong. So Kolong is a river in Nagaon. No? So this Mr. Singer, so he was assistant commissioner of police. He was beaten to death by the common people, because initially people, they were actually organized the protest with peacefully, but what they do, the British wanted to suppress it. So as Mr. Singer, actually he was the assistant commissioner of police of Nagaon, and he actually ordered to disperse these people, and so lathi charge took place. And ultimately the people, they become very agitated, so they attacked this assistant commissioner. He was actually beaten to death, and then he was thrown to the Kolong river. So very unfortunate events took place, and ultimately additional force came, and ultimately they were suppressed. People were suppressed, and many actually these people they were also severely punished, either death sentence or life imprisonments. Okay, ultimately the people who were actually involved in this incident, some of them were given death in sentence, or some of they were given the life imprisonment. Okay, so again, okay, so but there is some, although it is a failure, no, this again is a failure, but there is a significance, okay, of this event. So there is a significance. Again, we can see after this Fulaguri, this we will see repeated. So after this Fulaguri, no, so we will see there is a there will be repeated revolt, whether it is Rongia, Pothorughat. Okay, so although this revolt is a failure, but we have seen there is a common people. Initially they hesitate. Although initially they hesitate to fight, now they come out. They gather the courage to fight against the mighty British. Okay, so this is one positive outcomes. Okay, so it was the first popular rebellion. Initially, so actually the revolt, whether it is 1827, so this were carried out by upper middle class or higher middle class people, no, and or this this royal family of the this Ahom. But this is the first movement where this common people, okay, so common people, they have participate, they willingly participate, Okay, so this is the first revolt. So the common people they willingly participate, and it was the first popular rebellion of the peasants of Assam against the British. Okay, and it is the first time that middle class intelligence came out in support of the local rebels, and so it gives the inspirations. Okay, so the village men and tribals. Okay, initially who they hesitate, no, they hesitate to fight against the British, and but now they come forward. Okay, willingly to suppress this revolt. Okay, and we can see the evidence in the next 5 years. After this revolt, in the next 5 years, there are a lot of revolt took place. Whether it is Pothorugat, whether it is in Rangia, so there is a lot of revolt. So British have to administration have to face a lot of revolt against the actually increasing land tax. Okay, okay. Okay, so next we will discuss Rongia and Lasima revolt. Okay, so there are also some revolt took place in Rongia and Lasima. Okay, this place, so against the British. Okay, so what is the cause of this revolt? Rongia in district Kamrup. No, at that time it was in Kamrup district. Again, you see, they actually follow the same footsteps taken by the Pothorugat. They initially actually lost protest, organized rice mill. So they initially organized a rice mill. Rice mill means, again I have already discussed, where they come together and they discuss their common issues. Okay, and the cause of their protest was, okay, there is an increase in 100% increase in the land revenue. So what is the main cause? Actually there is an increase in 100% increase in the land revenue. Okay, so these people they protested against this. Okay, and this Rongia revolt actually began on 24th of December 1893, where the people of Rongia they actually attacked. Okay, and they this actually demonstration to take place on 10th January 1894, in which they actually raised slogan not paying the increased actually revenue. They actually organized, they attacked the markets, and they also raised slogan that they will not pay the increased or renewed land revenue. Okay, so on the same day, so McCabe, he was the deputy commissioner of Kamrup, imposed the ban of holding any mail. So deputy commissioner of Kamrup was at that time McCabe. So he actually imposed a ban that no people, the people they cannot organize any mail, that is rice mill. Okay, so you need to okay. So all the important leaders of this revolt were soon arrested, and police and okay, and okay, and in Lasima revolt also held in that same regions in the that of Rongia. So the Lasima revolt was also actually organized for the same reason, that is increase in land revenue. There is a 100% increase in land revenue by the British. Okay, by the British authority. So the as a result, the common people they have to suffer a lot. So actually organize this again revolt. Okay. The only difference between the Lasima and Ronge revolt is that there is a difference. So the basic difference, the only difference is that the Rongia revolt was peaceful. There is no large scale actually demolition. Okay, but this Rongia revolt it take the course of violence. It actually become violent. Okay, it took the course of violence. Okay, and they assaulted the revenue collectors. Okay, revenue collectors who were actually agent of the British government. They physically assaulted. Okay, revenue collectors who were actually in actually Lasima revolt. They physically assaulted the revenue collectors who were the actually agent of the British. Okay. Okay, the Lasima revolt actually it was took place on 21st of January 1894. The revenue collectors were actually severely beaten, ultimately he led to died. He died itself. Okay, the revenue collector he was there was severely actually attacked by the people, and he was ultimately died. Okay, and then police actually arrested as many as 75 villagers. So Now also British take very strict actions. Okay, so they use the force, and as many as 75. Okay, 75 people's villagers were actually arrested. Okay, again the agitated people, they soon freed the arrested persons from the custody of the police. This led to major police crackdown in the village. Okay, and okay, so this is your Rongya and Lasima revolt. Okay, although Rongya revolt was peaceful, but in Lasima, so actually it becomes violent. Okay, and next important revolt is your Pothorughat run, 1894. It is the last, no? Pothorughat. It is important. Okay, and this Pothorughat run, it took place in the Dorong district. So this Pothorughat run in 1894, no? 1894. So it Pothorughat run of 1894. So it took place in Dorong district, and here also the given the people were against the enhancement of the rates of revenue. Same. The cause of the revolt is same in every places. That is the British, they arbitrarily actually impose the taxes, and which is very high. Okay. So again they organized the rice mills. So rice mills were held. Okay, and they actually to discuss the issue, and on 28th of January 1894, actually the police party went to village to attach the property of the peasant cultivation who were actually defaulter, and they were surrounded by the mob. Okay, so actually some defaulter means who actually failed to pay their tax. So when police party, no, they went to the village to actually okay, who have failed, who are the defaulter means who actually failed to pay the tax. This they were actually surrounded by the people. Okay, and soon after the incident of the rebel actually, and ultimately these police parties were attacked by the villagers. Okay, and they were attacked by the villagers, and police also opened fired, and around 140 villagers actually died. So it is like a Jallianwala Bagh massacre, no, that took place in Punjab. Okay, we know that in the 1919, okay, Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place in Punjab. So it is from the Indian history point of view. So where actually when people they protested against the Rowlatt Act. So there was a one Rowlatt Act, no. So in 1919, so people they protested against this Rowlatt Act. What is Rowlatt Act? So means the British authority can detain any persons for indefinite period without any trial. So this is a very black act, no, because it will actually diluted the freedom, individual liberty and individual freedom. So what people do, they actually come forward to protest against this Rowlatt Act, where actually at the time was General Dyer. Okay, he actually ordered to fire, no. So where more than 1,000 people were actually stood dead, and many were wounded. It took place in Jallianwala Bagh in Punjab. Okay, so same incidents. You can say this Pothorughat run. Pothorughat is like a Jallianwala Bagh of Assam, where British actually they stood dead around 140 villagers. Okay, because there was some villagers they were the defaulter. So due to the increase in the land revenue, they were not able to pay the actually increased land revenue. So what British actually police came to the actually these places. Okay, ultimately the blazers surrounded this police force, and they attacked on the police, and ultimately in order to save them, this police just opened fired, and in this actually firing incidents around 140, no, so 140 people they lost their life. So around 140 people they lost their life, and many were injured. Okay, and so this is about your Pothorughat. Okay, if you see the chronologically, which took place first. So first took place is your actually Phuloguri. Phuloguri events took place in 1861. Just remember, sometimes they may ask the chronologically arrangement. So this Phuloguri uprising took place in the year 1861, and Rongya revolt in 1893. 1893, and Lasima revolt it is in 1894, but it is on 21st of January. 1894, 21st of January, no, 21st of January. So whereas Pothorughad also 1894, but it is in 28th January. Okay, so on 28th of January. So if you arrange the chronologically, sometimes this may ask, no, arrange the these events in the chronological manner. So first took place your Pothorughad in Nagaon in the year 1861. Second one is your Rongia revolt in 1893. Then Lasima revolt in 1894, and 21st January. 1894, 21st January. And then next one is your Pothorughad revolt, again 1894 on 28th of January. So this is the chronological order. Okay. Next, there is a Assam Bengal Railway Workers Strike. So it took place in 1921. Okay, so these workers also strike. Okay, because their condition of because they mainly protest against the increasing the wages and decreasing their working hours. They have to work for a long period under British and with a very minimum wage. Okay, so they protest against this. So this is took place in the year this one 1921. Workers of Assam Bengal Railway actually restored to indefinite strike. The main issue is what? Wage increase or reduce the working hours. Okay, and okay, this is just remember date. Okay. Then there was another revolt in Dibru-Hodia Railway Workers Strike, 1928. So they also same for the revisions of wages and decreasing the working times and revision of wages, which took place in 1928. Okay, 1928. Then Dhubri Mess Factory Workers Strikes, 1935-36. So this took place for around 57 days. Okay. And okay, so this is all about the different actually revolt that took place during the British period. Okay, and from Phuloguri, Pothorughad, Rongia, Sepoy Mutiny, from Gumdhor Corps to all these things. This is a different revolt. Okay, that took place during starting from Gumdhor Corps, from Moniriam Dewan and all these things, Phuloguri, Pothorughad, up to this your Dhubri Mess Factory Workers Strike, 1935-36. So these are some actually revolt led by some workers, workers as well as your peasant movement. These are some workers and peasant movement. So we also discuss in details all these non-cooperation movements, civil disobedience movements, and non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, as well as the Quit India movement. Those things will, and Swadeshi movement during the partition of 1905. So these are the movement led by workers and peasant. Okay. So next we will discuss so awakening of national consciousness. Okay. So how? So we all know that at that time the Bengal. So Bengal is a nerve center of national awakening. Okay. So all these leaders like Rajaram Mohan Rai. Okay. Then the Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Okay. So they actually played a very significant role. No. So in awakening the national consciousness through different literature, novels. Okay. Journals. Okay. And Aurobindo Ghosh. Okay. So similarly in Assam also, so there is awakening of national consciousness took place through different journals, through different newspapers. Okay. So through which they try to unite the people, common people. So they they actually try to raise the national sentiments among the common peoples, so that they can come together and fought against this British. Okay, and they can liberate they can liberate the British, and they can liberate Assam from the from British rule. Okay, so so Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha. So first you can see Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha. So this is the first political association. Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha is the first political association formed in Assam. Okay, and it was founded in 1884 in Jorhat, Assam. Okay, Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha, it is the first political association which was formed in Assam, and it was founded in 1884 at Jorhat. So it was the initiatives of famous Assam tea planter Jagannath Barua. Okay, so Jagannath Barua took these initiatives. Okay, so and the purpose of this Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha is to represent the wishes and aspirations of the people to the British government. Okay, so the first political association, okay, that was formed in Assam is your Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha. So it was formed in 1884. Okay, this initiative was taken by the famous tea planter, that is Jagannath Barua. What is the main objectives of this Sabha? So they wanted to actually represent the wishes and aspirations of the common people to the British government, because so for the common people it may not be possible to directly interact, directly communicate with the British administration. So this through this Sabha, they wanted to they first listen, and they go to the people, common people, and then they try to put forward their aspirations and their demands to the British administration. Okay, then next another important thing is your Assam Association. Okay, so Assam Association was formed in the year 1905, and it is a first session. Okay, so its first session was held in Dibrugarh. Okay, so it formally elected, and Raja Prabhat Chandra Barua as its president, and Jagannath Barua as vice president, and Manik Chandra Barua as the general secretary. Okay, so Home Association was formed in the year 1905. No? So its first session was held in Dibrugarh, and who was the first president of this Assam Association is your Raja Prabhat Chandra Barua was the first president, and Jagannath Barua was the vice president, and Manik Chandra Barua was the general secretary. So the association served as the mouthpiece of people of Assam in presenting the authorities and their needs and grievances, hopes and aspirations. Okay, the Assam Association played a very major role in maintaining the unity and integrity of the Assam at the time of partition of Bengal. We know that so Bengal's partition of Bengal took place in the year 1905 itself. No, so Bengal partition took place in 1905. Although British give the reasons for partition was for better administrations of the Bengal, no? Because Bengal was too big to it was too big to run effectively. So they said that they wanted to divide into actually West Bengal as well as the East Bengal. Okay, so that they can effectively administer. Okay, and decreasing the workload on few peoples. They wanted to include more people in the in the administration. Okay, but that was not a real intention. The real intention was that if we see the division, in the Western Bengal it is dominated by the Muslim majorities there. In the Eastern Bengal it is Hindu majorities there. So why British wanted to the main cause of this actually partition was to actually divide the people on this basis of community. So because they actually use the policy of divide and rule policy, they wanted, so the British know that if there will be communal harmony between Hindu and Muslim, major community in India at the time, if these two communities will work together, then it will be very difficult for them to survive or to rule in India for long. So they wanted to, through this partition plan, so they wanted to plant the seed of this mistrust among these two communities, so that they will they will fought among themselves, then it will be very easy for them, the British, to actually to rule India. So during this time also, this Assam Association, who actually played a very significant role in maintaining communal harmony. So okay, and to spread the main intention of British, okay, and among the people, so that people will they will work together collectively against the British. Okay, so the Assam Association played a major role in maintaining the unity and integrity of Assam, okay, at the time of partition of Bengal, and its effort led to the declaration of Assam as a major province equal to the status with other provinces of India. Okay, initially, actually, I have already discussed last class that Assam was placed under the British presidency. No, only in 1874, Assam was actually separated and placed under a new province. No, and actually, although it was initially chief commissionership, it was put under a chief commissionership, and with as a northeast frontier province with Shillong as the capital. Then again 1905 it is again merged with the East Bengal after during the partition, no, and ultimately again 1912 it was again declared as a new province under again with the as a chief commissioner's province. In 1921 it is ultimately upgraded to governor's province. It is upgraded to governorship. Okay, so now this is Assam Association played a very significant role during this critical time in maintaining unity and integrity among the different communities of Assam. Okay. So next we can see the gradually the Assam Association got activity involving with the programs initiated by Indian National Congress like non-cooperation movement. Okay, and finally its members felt that Assam's their associations should identify itself with the aims and of the Indian National Congress and sense its provincial outlook in order to serve the larger interests of the countries ultimately. Okay, so it decided to merge with the newly formed Assam Provincial Congress Committee. Okay, so Assam Association gradually, so they realized that the members they realized that they actually wanted to identify itself. Okay, they wanted to sense its provincial outlook in order to serve larger, the larger interests of the country ultimately. So they actually wanted to sense their provincial outlook. So in order to serve the larger outcomes. No? So as a result, they wanted to merge with the Indian National Congress. So ultimately, so it is actually it merged with the newly formed Assam Provincial Congress Committee. Okay, so Assam Provincial Congress Committee 1921. Okay, so ultimately it merged with the Assam Provincial Congress Committee of 1921 in order to serve in a much wider range. Okay, so it merged with the Assam Provincial Congress Committee 1921. Okay, so Assam Provincial Congress Committee, if you see, it was formed in June 1921. Okay, which is headquartered in Guwahati, and Kulodhar Soliha, he was actually its president. Kulodhar Soliha was its president. Okay. So Assam Provincial Congress Committee was formed. Assam Provincial Congress Committee was formed in June 1921, which is headquartered at Guwahati. So headquarter was in Guwahati, and Kulodhar Soliha was its president. Okay, so who was the first president? It is your Kulodhar Soliha. Okay, so Kulodhar Soliha was its president, and later Torun Ram Phukon, he became the president and reconstituted the Assam Provincial Congress Committee. Okay, and other members were also there like Gopinath Bordoloi, Bimala Prasad Soliha, Chandranath Sharma, Krishnanath Sharma, Kanak Chandra Sharma, and these all are the members of Indian Congress Committee. Okay. So next, under the new committee, Gandhiji was invited to Assam in 1921, and to progress a message of non-cooperation among the masses. His visit gave tremendous impetus to the Congress workers and okay. So Gandhi visited for the first time in 1921 on the request of Assam branch of this Provincial Congress Committee of Assam. So they requested Gandhiji to visit Assam and to inspire the people of the Assam, as well as to popularize the concept of non-cooperations. Okay, because we know that in 1921 itself, Gandhiji launched the non-cooperation movement. So what is a non-cooperation means? Main objectives of non-cooperation is non-violent. They will protest, but they will not take the shelter of this violent method. Okay, they will actually non-cooperate. So they will not cooperate with the British in any matters, whether in office they will not. Okay, and if possible they will not also pay the tax. Okay, so this is but all these protests will be carried out in a peaceful manner, without any violent or without any attack on the British officials. Okay, and in order to popularize this concept of non-cooperations, Indian Assam branch of this Provincial Congress Committee, they invited Gandhiji. So ultimately Gandhiji entered came into Assam for the first time on their invitations in 1921. Okay, to popularize the concept of this non-cooperation among the masses. Okay, and in 1926, okay, and the 41st sessions of the Indian National Congress was hosted by this Assam Provincial Congress Committee at Pandu, okay, and Guwahati, and which was actually presided over by Srinivas Iyengar. We know that Congress Working Committee, CWC. So at that time also Congress Working Committee, they used to they organized the general meeting annually, and the 41st meeting of All India Congress Committee was 41st session of this meeting took place in Guwahati. In 1926, 41st session All India Congress Working Committee meeting was actually organized in the Guwahati Pandu, and it was actually presided over by Srinivas Iyengar. These are important. Okay, this event was actually presided over by Srinivas Iyengar, and again all the national leaders also so came to Assam during this meeting in 1926, like Motilal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Madan Mohan Malviya, Muhammad Ali, okay, and all these things, Sarojini Naidu, Abdul Kalam Azad, all these important and national leaders, they also visited Assam during this meeting of All India Congress Committee, which was took place in 1926 in Pandu, and it was presided over by the Srinivas Iyengar. Okay, Srinivas Iyengar. Next, non-cooperation movement in Assam. So I have told you already that non-cooperation movement took place in 1921 at India, okay, in all over India, and what is the impact of this non-cooperation movement, and who carried out this movement, and what are the outcomes. Okay, so this movement in Assam. So okay, so responding to the Gandhi's call, no, so this thousands of students of Assam, so they departed from the school colleges and joined the Gandhi's non-cooperation movement. Okay, and I've already told you, no, there is in 1921 Gandhiji came, and he actually addressed the common people, and all these people were actually, they were attracted at the personality of Gandhi. Okay, so they basically joined middle class, who actually basically silent, totally inactive in the political participation. Now they awaken. Okay, so when Gandhiji actually fired the British cloth and things, whole Assam was flooded with the tide of anti-British movement. Okay, and actually see, so during non-cooperation movement, they also boycott the foreign goods. Okay, and the Gandhiji actually he addressed the people, and people were also attracted towards this, and ultimately you see non-cooperation movement was actually, although Gandhiji he wanted this movement should be non-violent, there should not be attacks on any officials, but in 1922 on the 5th of February at the Sori Sora events. Sori Sora is a small place in UP. So the event became violent. Okay, ultimately, all of a sudden Gandhi withdrew this movement. Okay, because he requests all his followers to become non-violent, because okay, and because Gandhi knew that British can easily suppress any violent actions. Okay, so they can continue the movement only when they can carry out it through non-violent means. Okay, but in Sauri Sohra, no, so in the 5th February, in 5th February 1922, the event becomes actually violent. Okay, so they actually in Sauri Sohra, the people they attacked the police station where, so that they attacked the police stations where, and they actually burned it and killed the actually people and policemen there. Ultimately, this event was actually stopped country abruptly, and similarly in Assam also it was also stopped. Okay, and student community they played a very significant role in Assam also during this moment. Okay, and next, civil disobedience movements. So after the non-cooperation movement, there is also civil disobedience movement. Okay, in 1930. Okay, and during this civil disobedience movement, one very important thing is here, Cunningham Circular. Cunningham Circular. Actually, before this civil disobedience movement, no, Gandhiji launched the Salt Satyagraha. Okay, Salt Satyagraha or Salt March was launched Gandhiji on 12 March 1930. And so in this Salt Satyagraha, so where actually Gandhi protested against the this British imposed tax on the salt also. Okay, on salt also. So because salt is a very commonly consumption this item. So in order to protest this, so Gandhi started this actually march from Sabarmati Ashram on 12 March in 1930 from Sabarmati Ashram to a place known as Dandi. Okay, in Gujarat, and it took around 24 days. And on 6th April 1930, Dandi, it is a place in coastal area in Gujarat where he actually collect the salt. So British actually prohibit the collection of salt by the common, and they also impose a heavy tax. So to protest this, Gandhiji started this salt satyagraha. Or and only persons, actually there are 79 people who participate in this satyagraha, and the only persons who participate in the salt satyagraha of Gandhi is Liladhar Borua. So Liladhar Borua is the only persons from Assam who actually participate in the Dandi March. Okay, so this is all for today. In the next class, I will discuss in details in civil disobedience movements, then Quit India movement. Okay, and Cunningham Circular. So then I will discuss these things, all the important events subsequently. Okay, thank you.